one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Almighty God, as we gather, we thank you that you bring us here safely, that you kept all of our students and staff members in this county safe today. We ask that you would bless us through the winter, that the safety will be something that will be continued every day for everybody all through our season of school. We ask that you would bless our meetings tonight, our discussion and our discretion. Give us discretion for our decisions. Amen.
Amen.
There's nobody here for public comment, so we will move on to student and staff recognition.
Okay, I would like to recognize the Pinal County Middle High School volleyball team, the cheerleaders, and the football teams for all three of them advancing to state level competitions, and also the coaching staff. That shows a lot of dedication and hard work from all of those teams and the coaching staff. So greatly appreciated and congratulated.
Well done. And we have received the minutes of our November 4th school board meeting. Do we have any corrections or objections to them, or a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Then all in favor of approving the minutes of the November 4th, 2025 board meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. That brings us now to the point where we will be doing the personnel.
Yes, I have two resignations to go over. Michael I as substitute bus driver and Mary Sawyers as substitute aide.
And I recommend that these resignations be accepted as presented.
Our superintendent's recommending that we accept the resignations as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of accepting the resignations as presented for Michael I. and Mary Sawyers, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes.
Okay, we would like to ask permission to post before and after school tutor at Franklin Elementary School. This is a position that we had that Corey Wagner resigned from. And we would also like to ask permission to post before and after school tutor at Brandywine Elementary School.
And I recommend that these positions be approved.
Our superintendent's recommending that we grant permission to post these two positions. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of granting permission to post the extracurricular before and after school reading and math tutors at Brandywine and Franklin Elementary, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. And personnel.
We have Jeremy I as extracurricular softball head coach at Pendleton County Middle School. Tanner Carr, 5th grade teacher at North Fork Elementary School. Kathy Gowan, substitute aide. Brandon Mallow and Jesse Johnston, substitute bus drivers. And Kathy Gowan, substitute restricted teacher.
And I recommend that these positions be filled as presented.
Our superintendent's recommending that we employ these as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of employing Jeremy I., Tanner Carr, Kathy Gowan, Brandon Mallow, and Kathy Gowan in the positions listed, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Approval of contracts.
We have two duty-free lunch agreements, Amy Gardner and Robin Simmons.
And I recommend that these be approved.
The superintendent's recommending approval of the two duty-free lunch agreements. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving duty-free lunch agreements for Amy Gardner and Robin Simmons, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Nothing under approval of non-paid coaches, so volunteers and chaperones, and I don't think we need to require those to be read.
All right, so I recommend that they be approved as presented.
The superintendent's recommending approving the volunteers and chaperones as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the volunteers and chaperones as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Nothing under leaves of absence. So
Nope.
that finishes us up under personnel, and we will move on to finance.
Okay, under 6A, Treasurer's Report. For October 2025, we had an early meeting in November, didn't have time to complete the October, so this is it. Subsequently, this is an early meeting after the end of the month for November, so at the next meeting, we'll have the November Treasurer's Report, which will take us down a little bit in cash, I believe, when we get to that point. But for this month, we have maybe our first month ever with over $4 million in a current month-ending cash fund balance. Again, a combination of grants, reimbursements, property taxes that we have received, and it is just a cash position. It is not obviously our year-end fund balance, but it is good to have a healthy cash position as we proceed through the year. October 31st, so we began the month with just over $3.8 million. Receipts of $1.647 million, disbursements of $1.345 million, and that got us to an ending fund balance of $4,113,511.60. Most of it is in our sweep accounts, the ICS account, $3.8 million. Some of it is broken down in the basic checking, accounts payable, and payroll accounts. There is $1332.75 as far as checks in transit. So that accounts for reconciliation, $1332.75. Interest is down to 4.04%. It was 4.29 in September. I haven't checked the latest November statement yet. I think it should hover around that point for now, but I haven't checked. But with the large cash balance, we did actually increase. In September, we had just over $10,000 interest. In October, $11,847.63. So year-to-date, since July 1st, $41,597.96. So again, that may slow down a little bit in terms of the amounts, especially compared to last year. The rate's a bit lower, but so far the cash balance is keeping us going forward. With that balance, disbursement breakdown for October, those were the bills that we had for October, $791,119.67. Payroll, we had our first substitute payroll on October 3rd, $429, $749.94. So our fifth of the month, our first payroll of the month is when substitutes get paid. So that's why that is a larger payroll than the second payroll of the month. Total payroll for the month was just under $800,000, $796, $629.16. Everything reconciles back with the net checks. And so if I go back to the first page, then that does bring us back on disbursements A, B, and C, tie back to the second page. But that culminates in a $4,113,511.60 fund balance for the month ending October 31 of 2025.
And I recommend that the treasurer's report be approved.
Our superintendent's recommending that we approve the treasurer's report. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the October Treasurer's Report with an ending balance of $4,113,511.60, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes.
Next item on the agenda is 6B, bills for November, because that doesn't require any month-end reconciliation or files from the bank to arrive in time. It is just bills written from November 1st through November 30th. So we'll start off with the summary of the bills for the month, totaled $643,801.17. First page highlighted the quarterly Board of Risk payment, which is $42,292. Again, so that's just a quarter. So it's over $160,000 for the year, which again, I remember when those payments were about $50,000 a year. But the liability insurance, especially, and that's for the whole year, has increased quite a bit, and hopefully that's leveling off, but it has seen a substantial increase in the past 4 to 5 years. Scrolling down as far as items of note, the Chromebooks, which we do have to keep in mind that we have, almost 1,000 devices between students and staff. This was just a small amount of 25. We had purchased several hundred back in the summer. This was an amount to help improve our inventory of Chromebooks. But for 25, it was $86.95.25. So just over $300 a Chromebook, between $300 and $400. So they're not as expensive as a laptop. They're not, we don't do as much with them as a laptop. But so far, with the maintenance of the crew that we have, they have worked fairly well for us. But as we continue to go throughout the years, as we've discussed, we'll continue to have to look at when do we replace them, how many do we replace, and keep those plans in place. Page 3 of the PDF, which is called Edmentum Virtual. We had a pretty large payment to that, over $40,000 for virtual school. This was from additional enrollment that we had. $59.90, as discussed at a prior meeting, and I know we talked about getting some further numbers there, and don't know if we've had that discussion or not. We had paid over $40,000 for Edmentum, and this is $59.90. So it does allow students to take these classes virtually, and then for us to count them, in enrollment. We have the caveat of the 1,400 floor, which is not perfect, and it's not going to be 1,400 for next year, but close to it. So we want to certainly engage with the students, but there is a cost that we didn't used to have in our regular budget of about $45,000, $46,000 a year on that virtual school tuition there.
Do we know how many students that is?
Carrie's going to be sharing with that in other today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep. So Carrie will bring that forward. I think Brandywine meeting, the question was asked, and so Carrie is going to respond with that. And then some routine bills there, and I think I pushed on the cord, but we're still alive here. And then Highway Motors coming up on signal refresh on the screens. Highway Motors on page 4 of the PDF, 7711. That was a rebuilt engine, transmission, pretty much the whole $32,000. Which again, every time we see that, it's a huge amount. And as we've said before, if that was our vehicle, well, I don't think we'd pay that much. We total it. Now we get reimbursed 95%. So it costs us 5% of that, maybe $1,600. Now it takes a year or two to get reimbursed on that, so we do have to watch that. But again, I think we have too many buses that need that, but that's 7711. That means it's a 75, 76, 77 passenger, and it was bought in 2011. That's how our numbering system works. And so it has some age to it, but we're paying $1,600 to fix it net as opposed to $150,000 for a new one. So we rely on Chuck and working with Christy to make sure, is this something that if it gets fixed, can it still be used in our fleet? And then obviously we continue to do things like lease purchase new buses when appropriate. So it is a balancing act to work through with that. The next item, page 5 of the PDF, turf tank field striping. I don't know if the principals here tonight want to talk about plans for that, but we did make a payment, and the high school was going to work with us on reimbursing expenses for that over time. So, Derek, do you want to describe what that will do, or we just the turf tank? Sure.
So the turf tank is the robot that will paint the fields for us. So they'll come and help us set up at the softball field, baseball field, and football field. And when it's time to paint, we just tell it which field it's on, push a button, and it will paint the field. They said it'll paint the football field with the hashes and the logo in the center of the field in about 3 hours. So that price includes the paint and the machine for the year. So we have plans to offset the cost of that and reimburse. We just needed to pay it up front to get the lower, if you can believe it, a discounted price.
Yeah, and we did agree. It's kind of like the GPS corn planting. You just tell it where to go, and it knows where to go.
You said it's for a year, though. So you have to renegotiate or redo it again next year?
Yes. Yeah,
So we
it's a
don't buy
yearly.
the machine, we're just leasing it.
It's
for
a
year.
lease, yes. So then repairs are on them.
So yes, so that you can keep that or turn it. I've got the other one. So then we had training. You know, this is not an annual expense with Penny, but you know, when we change handlers or get additional persons, we had some training to do. So that was 43, 62, 74. Again, that is not something we have to do every year to that expense level. That does come out of the CIS grant funding that we do have for the training that's there. The next, and I guess that's really all the highlights that I had as far as this goes. Sonny had a question about a payment, and that was for multiple years. There was a payment in lieu of transportation that was for multiple years, or multiple months that was for, based on that. So, any other questions for me? But that brings the total, again, for the month, 643,801.17.
JP, can I ask you a question about the buses? On an average, what is the life, I guess, in miles for a bus?
Well, the lifespan the state uses is 12 years, and that generally gets us several 100,000 miles. I don't know, Lisa, of course you work with the inventory, does that?
I'm thinking we have some that are in the high 100,000.
Like close to
Close to
200,000.
200,000 miles.
So the state doesn't really tell us when to stop, but after 12 years, they really aren't worth anything. We get X amount of money per year to be used for bus replacement, and the more valuable our bus fleet is, the more money they give us to replace it. It's enough to buy one bus, about 150,000 a year. We received 170 for the current year, and so they look at a 12-year replacement cycle and doing their calculations. So I think it would depend on the bus, but 200,000 would be close to max as far as the miles go, unless it was very easy miles. And then, it doesn't mean we can't have a bus over 12 years old, but it doesn't really bring any value to the fleet in terms of getting bus replacement money. So it is, looking at a strategy of, how long do you keep them? If you keep them too long, then you get no value for new bus replacement money. So you kind of have to look at through that. But 12 years is the average that they use, and I'd say max about 200,000 miles on that.
Let's see, we brought chips there at Grant County Mulch. We don't get them at the sawmill anymore, there at Riverton? Or is it because they do oak, which they don't like that acid out of the oak, or? If
Travis,
anybody
did you
check
hear
with
that
us-
question?
We can find out. I don't.
Well, I mean, I thought we always got them because we would haul them sometimes, but I don't know, maybe they didn't check with the sawmill this year.
The question was about the chips that we purchased, rather than getting is it oak ones, Sonny?
Well, the sawmill in
The sawmill
Riverton.
in Riverton, from there.
Okay, yeah, we used to get chips and stuff from them, but then since we haven't worked with them since they opened back up, I'm not sure whose management they're under right now.
Okay.
It's probably just a matter of reestablishing a contact.
Yeah, okay. Tell him Charles Almontrout can help him there.
Charles Armentrout, Travis.
Okay, he's back there now?
Yeah, he's working.
Okay, yeah, we'll check with them the next time. I wasn't sure what they were doing there and whether they were chipping or not, and like I said, I know before they would kind of reach out when they had the correct type of chips. The only thing was we had to provide the truck, and that kind of sometimes got difficult to get somebody to be sitting there with the truck whenever they were chipping a certain type.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
All right, I recommend that the bills are approved for November 2025.
The superintendent's recommending that the bills be approved. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussions or any questions? Then all in favor of paying the November bills in the amount of $643,801.17, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes.
Nothing under 6C, budget revisions for this meeting. As far as 6D, financial update, no handouts. We did receive some information back from the state about certifications for the enrollment and certifications for staffing from certified list. I will have some updated numbers on personnel, hopefully at the second meeting in December. But it was confirmed with our enrollment and Pocahontas's and the calculation that goes into it, we will be funded on approximately 1,382 students for next year, 1,382, which again is still more than the 840 or 50, depending on, when we take that survey of our students, and it's still a lifesaver for us. But we have become accustomed to 1,400 flat since 2019 when House Bill 206 was passed. And we've always been kind of tethered to Pocahontas County and our sparsity, but they've just fallen so far, we don't look as needy, and they get the 1,400, and the rest of us have to do a comparison to them, and then we get to add a certain amount to that. So 18 students is going to represent roughly $150,000 because it takes about every 14 students for a professional personnel, every 14 students you lose funding for a professional, about every 18 to 20 students you lose funding for a service personnel. So that 18 is about one service personnel, maybe 1.25 professional personnel funding. The average professional salary, is maybe $50,000. Maybe you throw in insurance, which could be $15,000 to $16,000, and retirement and Social Security, you're up close to $80,000, the average cost for that. And then service personnel, the average cost might be $50,000 to $60,000. So maybe a little less, but rounding off to $150,000. So we just have to keep that in mind as we move forward. I still think we're very solid this year, but in addition to discussion about CIS, that grant money is reducing every year. We look at that at North Fork, a little bit of that analysis. We are going to receive now with the legislature, if we could somehow get them to improve that, to remove the tether to Pocahontas County or improve that, that would be great. Also, but the bottom line is we don't want to lose any part of the 1,400 floor. If it ever, because there is more talk than ever, and Nicole may get into that some with various legislators and meetings in Charleston, more talk than ever about updating the funding formula. Of course, Randolph would certainly love to see more money, and so would Roan. And there's some proposals where you could give them more personnel per 1,000 that would help counties like those, and we think that's fine, certainly. We just obviously and don't want to lose the floor under any scenario. There's also discussion about the Tennessee funding formula, which, whether that comes to pass or not, they give a base amount to every county in the state per student. Then they start adding weight on it for special ed, exceptionalities, weight for poverty, weight for sparsity. But the weight for sparsity, from what I've seen from Tennessee, is a far cry from what we receive in the 1,400 floor. Now, what Tennessee requires local entities to do, I don't know. Like in Virginia, as Wilma knows, the local board of supervisors, it's much more. They have to decide much more. Here it's, rates set by the state, and there's nothing locally to decide. So there's still things to be determined there. But there's a lot of look, and we just have to maintain our review, maintain an eye on what's happening in Charleston down there. So that's really all I have. So it still seems solid, still seems good. We can't let our guard down when it comes to funding.
Okay. Any questions for JP or anything under finance? And we'll say we're done with finance and move to facilities.
I just want to remind everyone that the needs grant presentation will be December 15th in Charleston at the Lottery Building, and hopefully we're able to get some of those funds. And that's all I have, unless you all have questions.
Any questions for Travis?
December the 15th.
December 15th, yep. Okay. If there's no questions then, we'll say we're done with facilities. Nothing under old business. So under new business, we have the MOU with Shepherd University.
Yes, this is the MOU. We had one on the last agenda with Marshall. Same kind of MOU. It just is a direct admittance for Pendleton County students as long as they meet the criteria outlined. It gives us the ability to share information with guardian permission to them.
Would you recommend?
I do recommend that we approve this MOU.
Our superintendent's recommending that we approve the MOU with Shepherd University. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving this MOU with Shepherd University, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Unified Sports at PCHS.
You ready?
Yeah. So we, Jackie had a meeting with the PVC a couple months ago where they want to bring back the Unified Sports program that was around several years ago. I don't know that Pendleton ever participated. I'm not sure, but what it is a program for students on the alternate diploma that don't have an opportunity to play regular athletics, and they're the only cost associated with it would be T-shirts and the travel to and from wherever the games within our PVC region would be, and the middle high school athletic budget would cover that. So we're not asking for any money, just approval to join the rest of the PVC counties in offering this opportunity for those students who wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity.
And I do recommend that we approve Pendleton County High School joining the Unified Sports Program.
We have a recommendation from the superintendent. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions?
What grades, Mr. Lambert? Is that freshman up? Or?
It's starting 9-12 because I think it's Hampshire or Mineral County that's getting all of this started back up and spearheading it. It's starting out 9 through 12 with the hope to expand at 6-12.
Any additional questions? Excuse me. Then all in favor of signing and going with this agreement with Unified Sports at PCHS, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Good luck. MOU with SP Photography.
And I do recommend that we would approve this. This is the photography agreement that we had last year in place with the yearbook for the middle high school.
We have our superintendent's recommendation to sign the MOU with SP Photography. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of the MOU with SP Photography, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Placement agreement with Western Governors University.
This is an MOU between the Western Governors University and Pendleton County Schools to provide placement for individuals completing their student teaching. And if you approve it, this will allow Pendleton County Schools to engage with potential future educators. The candidates are pursuing licensure, and it will just assist us more in bringing qualified educators to Pendleton County Schools.
And I do recommend that we approve this placement agreement with Western Governors University.
So our superintendent's recommending approving this placement agreement. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions?
I mean, what is the fees or how the fees associated with this? I haven't read it.
Are there fees associated with it?
I don't believe so, Christy. There's not fees.
No,
are there? Mm-mm.
no, there are no fees.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Then all in favor of approving the placement agreement with Western Governors University, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Policy review.
Okay, would like to It is my recommendation that we uphold policy 5320 on immunization based on West Virginia Code 16-3-4 and today's Supreme Court ruling to stay the Raleigh County ruling.
So our superintendent is recommending that we validate that we can have our 5220
5320.
5320.
5320 policy stay as, in place as is, no changes on the vaccination requirements. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of validating policy number 5320, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes.
I will add very briefly, under policies, I did bring it up on the screen in board docs. So I believe, of course, you have your logins to board docs, which you don't need to go to right now, but we are going to come back at a future meeting, hopefully the second meeting in December, with another round of policy updates. And under policies, under draft, policies and draft, and we're going to get over here to district request. So draft on the right-hand side, district request is the book. August 2025, which has been accumulating some policies there. And so there's literally about 40 policies that are in there. And so all of these policies under draft, under district request, and under August of 2025, there are numerous policies in there to be looked at, including various ones with weapons. Some of it's updating it with legislation and state and board policy, staff training, employment of personnel, substitutes, open enrollment for non-resident students. There's a whole host. So this is not the official first reading. This is just letting you know that we're working on putting that together. If you want to get a preview of what's out there, if you, again, on draft and district request, and then under August of 25, that's where some of them are new policies, like there's a new policy on student groups. It's out there. There's a new policy on restrooms and changing facilities. Some of them are just technical corrections. A new policy on artificial intelligence. We just looked at some of those back a few months ago, but this comes out based on that. A new policy on school security personnel. Pendleton County Schools does not employ school security personnel, but if we did, there's a proposed policy, what they could and could not do, and I think there's even a decision to be made on a couple of those there. So a whole range of policies that are there that we will come back with an official first reading shortly with that. So that's all I have under policy.
Okay. Anything else under new business? Then we'll finish up under new business and move down to other, and the first thing we have is the third month attendance report.
All right, so yesterday was day 70, believe it or not, already. The third month attendance ended, I believe, on Halloween, so this is a little bit delayed compared to where we are currently. But if JP has it pulled up there, you can see everyone's doing really pretty well. Our best individual grade was Franklin Elementary School's 5th grade, and they were at 98, over 98% for the third month. Franklin Elementary did come out just a hair above Brandywine at 95.97. Brandywine was at 95.95, so both of those schools are doing a great job. And then 5th grade overall was our highest attendance at 95.94. The county as a whole, just shy of 95%, which would be our goal. We were at 94.83 for the third month. I'll have some updates for our chronic absenteeism probably at the next board meeting. But I pull reports every 10 days. Since yesterday was day 70, I was looking at it today, and all of our schools have improved their chronic absence rates as of this time last year. So they're all, the last 10 days, day 60, we saw a little bit of an increase for some reason, but we've come back down from where that was, and so everyone's doing a great job.
Any questions?
Do we no longer have it where you used to see, meet with the magistrate? I mean, is that after something, we no longer have that program, or we're not? Go ahead.
There used to be a truancy diversion program, where the state issued a grant, and it's my understanding that Pendleton and Grant County, went together on that grant and hired an individual, but several years ago, before my time, my understanding is we said that we didn't want to utilize that individual anymore. So we don't receive that grant anymore. Mrs. Hebner and I have talked about reapplying, and JP reapplying for that for this coming school year whenever it opens back up again. But aside from that truancy diversion, whenever students become truants, yes, we do file with the magistrate.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you. So we'll say that the third month attendance part is done, and we'll move to virtual enrollment and virtual policy review.
Okay. So I just uploaded our handbook packet. If you all want to take a look at that, there's not really a whole lot to talk about necessarily with that, other than our current program that we use is through Edmentum. We offer it to students grades 6 through 12, but students can't have failing grades from the year before, and they have to have a 2.0 in order to be eligible to participate in the virtual program. Once they are in the virtual program, they have to maintain that 2.0 and no failing grades. And if they drop below that GPA, or if they do have failing grades for the semester, they have a 1 semester period where they're on academic probation. And so that just means they have a semester to pull it back up. And if they do, then they're allowed to continue. But if they don't, then they're required to return to school. So the second document that I have there for you guys shows our numbers, our enrollment numbers over the last 2 years and then this year. So whenever I came into the position, we had 10 total students who were in the virtual program in the fall of 2023. 8 of them were full-time students, and 2 of them were part-time, meaning they took some classes virtually and then they went into the school building for other courses. So we had 10 that fall. That spring, we had someone else who was interested who decided to go virtual. And then last fall, that bumped up to 18. Last spring to 23. And this fall, again, we're at 23. So we have 17 students who are full-time, 6 students who have a blended schedule. Some virtual, some in the building. And again, it's 6 through 12. Of those students, and I'll say that that's not all of the students who reach out to enroll in the program, but again, we have requirements that they have to meet in order for them to be eligible. So we do often have students who aren't eligible to enroll because they have had failing grades or their GPA isn't a 2.0. Oftentimes I'll see students who are struggling with attendance want to go into the virtual program, but again, if they're struggling with attendance, oftentimes their grades aren't great, so they're not eligible. And those students, down along the bottom there, it tells you how many each of those semesters ended on probation. So in the spring of last year, we had 6 who were on probation, meaning they fell below a 2.0 or had at least 1 F. I anticipate 5, just based on where we are right now for this semester. But again, we aren't finished, so I'm often surprised at what they're able to do in the last couple of weeks whenever they know that it's crunch time and they're able to students who ended on probation and they were able to do one more semester. Most of them do pull their grades up. If they don't, generally what we see is they either pull out and go to homeschool, or we're seeing a lot of students go to West Virginia Virtual Academy or West Virginia Prep, which are two of the online charter schools in West Virginia. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the cost. So this was initially, we started virtual as a result of COVID, I believe, and Travis was in this seat. And I just remember discussions at leadership meetings, and at that point in time, we had it open to elementary school students as well. So it really came from COVID and parents wanting other alternative schooling options. The county made the decision to, at that time, we were using the West Virginia Virtual School Program. So not to be confused with West Virginia Virtual Academy, which is a charter school, but West Virginia Virtual School is a state-developed online virtual program. So we were initially using that, and while I was still at the high school and not doing anything with virtual courses, I remember there being a lot of discussion about people not being pleased with the program. I think it was new. I think that they were probably kinks. Everybody was in survival mode because it was during the COVID period. But it wasn't long after that we made the move over to Edmentum. And of course we had COVID funding. So my understanding is we paid a lot up front to Edmentum, where it covered multiple years. And so we were just kind of using up that money that we had initially put as kind of a down payment. That ran out last year. So what we're seeing now with bills are the results of having students enrolled and no longer having that COVID money to cover it. On this page, if you're looking at the same one as me with the chart, it gives you a breakdown of prices. And so what we pay is towards the bottom. We generally are either the active monthly per student, which is $250. And so we would have to pay that every month. The active semester per student, which is $1,600, or the active yearly per student, which is $2,500. And I try to, whenever I'm talking to families and I'm trying to figure out if this is something that they're going to stick with, we try to do the active yearly to cover the whole year. If it's a situation where a student moves in partway through the semester and they're not here for the whole year, and we just have a couple of months to pay, we would do the monthly. So we try to cater it to who our students are and what their needs are, to get the best price that we can. But it is expensive. It's very pricey. So we have talked about making the change back to West Virginia Virtual School. If we did that, they charge per half credit, so per class. We currently have, I think, 131 courses based on it's still pricey, but it wouldn't be nearly the cost that we are paying with Edmentum. With that said, again, as I've done some research, talked to other counties, there aren't a lot of folks that use the West Virginia Virtual School in the counties that I've talked to, and I wonder if that's because initially maybe it left a bad taste in their mouth. But again, it would be significantly cheaper to go that route. And Another option is working with Kanawha County, and they have a program where we can enroll with them, and their teachers provide the instruction. But then we lose those students full FTE, so they would be part-time our students, part-time Kanawha County students. So we would lose some of the funding that would be available for them. So we are looking at some different options moving forward, but I wanted to kind of give you all a breakdown of what this actually is and what it looks like, and answer questions that you might have.
Carrie, I have a question. Are these courses that are not available local with teachers? Like I'm seeing something up there, I thought I saw something with health and electives and stuff.
There, most of the courses are courses that we offer in the building. Not all. So last year I had 2 students take a German class, which they really enjoyed. There's a variety of classes that we don't offer in the building that they do have the ability to take, but it's vice versa too. There's some classes that we offer in the building that aren't available virtually. For the most part, these are students who want to be virtual. They don't want to be in the building, and so they want to do their education at home, and this program allows them to do that while maintaining them as our students.
Now, when they do those virtual classes, do they have to take any test at the end of it?
They do. They have exams.
Just exams, nothing like the state?
They still have to take the SAT school day if they're high school students, yes.
Okay.
Right, and the general summative assessment. So if they're in middle school, 6 through 8, then they have to come in and take those end of year tests. And they do. They're really good about coming in and making sure that they participate in those.
Any additional questions? Go ahead, Carrie.
I was asking the same thing, if anyone had any other questions.
Thank you very much for filling us in. I don't think anybody's got any questions. Oh, wait a minute.
Virtual wasn't a thing until COVID, correct?
Correct.
And do we have to offer it?
We do
I don't
for,
think that
We do?
A program for 6 through 12 virtual has been required since 2015.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
But you're able to use other sources of doing it, cheaper sources.
Yeah,
But
you
it-
just have to have a full-time available option.
Okay.
does it have to also provide the courses that we offer? Or is it for courses that are not
Yeah,
offered?
that's what I wanted to know.
It has to be they have to be able to graduate
Okay,
from that full-time program. So it would be the same that we offer.
okay.
I guess it just really wasn't known about, I guess, for myself until COVID. And that's when enrollment in virtual schools, because it was known then,
Yes.
I guess.
Every person at the department enrolled kids for a week, around the clock.
Nice. Okay.
Including Pendleton County kids.
we have I meet with families who are pretty set that they want to do it, and I tell them they have a week, they can try it out for a week, but if they choose to come back to the building, then they have to come back to the building, and so that happens more often than you might think, and vice versa. I have a lot of kids who start out a couple of days into the school year and they say, nope, we want to go virtual, and then we're kind of playing catch up with that. So there are options for our virtual program. My recommendation would never be that we begin including elementary students earlier than 6th grade, just because it's so foundational. I think they need to be in the building. They need those foundational skills with our certified instructors. With that said, we are losing them regularly to homeschool or to virtual charter schools. And it's not just us, it's statewide that we're seeing this.
I guess what else concerns me is the increased numbers that have been on probation. Like in fall of 2023, 2024, it was like 1, and then last year it was 6, and now we're 5. That's on academic
Right.
probation. So,
Right. And our overall numbers have increased, but the percentage of those on probation have increased too. And again, whenever we're talking about this, a lot of times we're seeing situations where we are avoiding school. So there could be situations where truancy is occurring and they want to get out and think that this is the solution, but then still continue to not necessarily do the best on their work and end up in another situation where they either have to come back or they choose to go a different route. And that's not to say that that's every situation. So I hope I don't want to make that generalization, because there are some students who just do struggle with a course and then they get back on the right track.
thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carrie, with the other programs, West Virginia Virtual or that Kanawha County thing you were talking about, would that still give them enough credits that would it be qualified then to graduate with those programs?
Yes. Yep. So they would still be able to earn all of their credits and graduate. There's just a factor of losing funding, but it's something that I think that we would need to sit down and take a look at, because we're paying a program anyway for our students. So I don't know what the numbers in comparison would be of losing them overall in our FTE versus paying a program.
Would it be possible to get a cost comparison then with those other programs?
I'll look into that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
Any more questions? Carrie, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'll say that we're done with the virtual enrollment and virtual policy review and move down to school improvement, student achievement.
Okay. Travis, do you have anything?
I don't. I thought you might want to talk about our data meeting next week.
Yes, I was going to say that we have on Tuesday of next week, a week from today, we will have our second upcoming data talk that we have with the principals, and that'll be the second of 3. So it's just a great opportunity to really look at their data and help them and give them support and just make sure we're all on the same page. So we are looking forward to that. So.
Any questions here? Then we'll move to steps to build a snow day.
Yes, that's me again. I just kind of wanted to go over this. I had posted it a couple weeks ago, and I just wanted to go over it with you all. So the first step that is in the on the, I don't know if JP has it, but
He
it
does.
was uploaded.
He
Lisa
does,
uploaded
yep.
it. Okay. So Nicole and I attend weather briefings throughout the days and evenings, and sometimes even the early mornings. I was on the one last night at 8 o'clock. So we attend those. There's multiple weather service providers on those calls, and they each get time to go over anything that they have to add to the weather, the upcoming weather. And then the second part of it is that we speak to other the surrounding counties. Nicole will reach out to all the superintendents. I reach out to the transportation directors. I was on the phone with Grant County and Hardy County this morning. And then I also reach out to a lot of people in the community. I have several staff members that I reach out to, bus drivers, and various areas all over Pendleton County. And they provide us information on, how the roads are there, what it's doing, and various things, and their temperatures. I had a range of temperatures to send to Nicole this morning from different people. I also reach out to the Department of Highways and get their take on, where the areas that we need to be most concerned about. And we also look at those cameras. I've never had that experience before with the cameras, and I really like it because I can get on there and see what it's doing in different areas. Those are so helpful. So I'm very appreciative to have those.
Christy,
So
can I,
once we gather-
hey Christy,
Yeah,
can I interrupt
yes.
just to give the board members an
Yes.
update? The North Fork cameras are spotty right now. They are in and out. During Thanksgiving break, Mr. Rick Gillespie did reach out to us and wondered if the board would consider helping with the cost of fixing those or replacing those. We're not sure what's going on yet, but those are vital for just making the decisions for transportation. So it is unfortunate that they worked at one point. I was looking at them, and then at another point, like this morning, they were not up and functional, which was really unfortunate. So
Yeah, they were down and they were back up and they were back down again.
Yeah, and I did talk to Rick again today, and he's working on it. He said it's just going to take some time, but I know that he will get back to us when he figures out what's going on with that one. So once we gather all that information and we've texted and talked and attended the weather briefings, then we talk and make the decision whether we're going to have a delay. If we're going to have a non-traditional instructional day, which is what we utilize today. And then I send the announcement out, and I've created some little announcements on Canva that I have ready to go for various days. And we will try to make them as early as possible and make those decisions. I've been a parent. I know what it's like to try to plan if you don't know ahead of time. So we will be diligent about trying to make those decisions. We're not always going to make the right decision, but we hope to. Do you all have any questions about that? I really like it.
Well, I'm glad you like it, since we're just getting started in the winter.
yes.
Yes.
I wish
Yes.
that Hardee's County started out with a 2-hour delay, and I'm thinking about, okay, 2 hours would be about the time I was getting ready to go to work. Well, before I got dressed to go to work, they upped it to 3 hours. So imagine a parent has seen us 2 hours, and then they suddenly change it to 3 hours.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a hard decision for the superintendents. Both Hardy and Grant went from 2 to 3, which is not usually something that we do. But we were all bemoaning the fact that it was the one instance where we should have called a 3-hour delay last night. And I told Christy, from now on, if the ice is in the forecast, it's going to be a 3-hour delay so that we can get in. But
And if it's calling, it's always sort of nice to know that, the night before there's a 3-hour delay,
Yes.
instead of getting to work
Yeah.
and finding out
Yes.
if there's a delay or
Yeah,
if they call
it makes
us.
it, it makes it very hard to plan as a parent because, parents go to work and so they need to kind of know what they're doing with their children. So we will try to make it as early as possible, and if we can do it the night before, we will, for sure.
definitely.
And as you talk with Rick, as he is if he replaces, I think it would be nice to have the thermometer up there too, so that you could see what the temperature
That would
is.
be nice.
It's
Right, yes.
nice to have that on Allegheny. I think it would be really nice to have it on North too.
It would be.
You could have it
Yes,
in Monterey
yes,
and
it
know
would
what's up. Spruce Knob probably.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
Great. Thank you very much for walking us through this.
Thank you.
And we'll move to superintendent's update.
Okay. So, did you get those uploaded? Let's see that. Okay. So that's okay. We will get those if you want that information. So, JP and I met with John and Michelle Connor We have an agreement from 1937 that allows us to keep an old single one single room schoolhouse on property that is National Forest. And the agreement is if we're using the building, then it can stay there. But it's come to people's attention that the building probably is not being used. So they are looking at doing some trails. So here, if you can see this, so right there is where US 33, right off of Huffman Flats, is where the school building is. If you see a picture of it, the sign's right there, the school building's right there. And these blue and red trails are what are proposed to be added, walking trails that will go alongside this FS 740 road that's already there, so that it gives options for short trails and longer trails. And so the concern is that the building, it has a hole in the roof, and it's just left to itself, it's probably going to fall down. So our options are, we're going to have to start looking at them. The Connors did provide us some contact information that I'll be pursuing some information. I'd also love, we talked about JP and I, various people, historians in the county, to try to get some information about the building and then try to decide, is this something that we want to maintain? Not likely. Or is it more likely something that maybe we want to sell to a nonprofit as a historical entity? So those are some things that we're going to be looking at, and we'll be getting additional information, and I'll be bringing those to you.
I think this historical society would be somewhat interested, but
I hope so.
they have so much storage that, they don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they've got storage, I think, down Upper Track in a church or something,
Yeah.
full of stuff.
It's an additional building they put
It's a
on the
building they
church
put
property. It has all of Johnny Arvin
Johnny
Dahmer
Arvin.
stuff
Oh,
in
well.
it.
Stuff's all down there, because I helped haul it down there.
Yeah.
So I know it's there.
So they own that property because it was give to them, but they had to put an additional building there to put all of Johnny Arvin's.
Maybe they need another building.
Farm
We could move that. We
farm
can-
farm and
I
stuff.
think that would be the thing, to look at what condition that building's in, because, gee, I've been on the school board how long, and we haven't talked about that building.
Well, I stopped at one years ago and
Since
looked
I
at it. I'm
first-
coming over the 11th for another meeting here in town. I'm gonna make, during the day,
Okay.
I'm gonna make a point
Yeah.
to stop and look at it.
And our understanding is the door is locked, and we may,
I think there was some old desks in it the last time I was stopped there and looked, but that's
Possibly.
been years ago.
possibly.
But who would buy it? I mean, that's the thing.
I don't know.
And
There might
if
be
somebody
somebody.
did buy it, would it have to be moved?
It would be, yes.
It would
I
have to be
mean,
moved
yes.
because it's,
Mhm. And
right?
anything we do, we have to talk to the National Forest, because we can't even cut the trees down that are growing like on top of the building. We can't do anything as far as repairs unless we have a permit. So we'll see.
Can we
So what if
gift
we
it to
just-
the Forest Service?
What happens in the cold
They
if
don't
we
want
abandon
it.
it?
They don't want
They
it.
do not want
I
it. I
mean,
don't
what-
think.
What happens if we just abandon it?
Well, then it would probably, I mean, that is a possibility, but then with more people being there, it's a greater liability. If you have people parking in that area and you have a building that's falling down and it's ours, and it's not a very good,
So probably the
Look
best
for
option,
us.
if nobody locally would want to take it over, is just put it up for public auction
Mm-hmm.
with the fact that it has to be moved.
right. And some people might do that just for the wood.
How did we get that
You
building?
could move the whole building, because they
Anybody
moved the
know?
whole,
They just
schoolhouse
always from the
from
counties.
Capitol
I
Hill.
mean, 1937.
Down the hill, and
Yeah,
got
it's always
uses
been
for
the
schools.
schools, yeah,
Richard Ruddle probably knows.
he probably does. So this is interesting
Then
to
they
look at
also have
this
another-
If
agreement.
Paul Clayton knows about
It
it.
had
then-
two
House out there
toilets.
at Mount Zion, and
Hey,
it's
Daddy,
supposed to be
Paul
every
Clayton
10
knows
years.
it.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably do.
It has a spring and a spring box. So at the time in 1937, there was another building, and they built this one to have a better building. So
It'd be interesting to see what's in there, though.
I mean, there are gonna be some trails out there, so one school of thought is, could that be some kind of museum slash
Yeah.
center for the not for the Forest Service, but kind of connected to that? The question then would be, well, whose building is it? I mean, we don't really want to operate a building and have liability, but then who do we sell it to or give it to that's gonna want to take over that kind of thing and then commit to improving it. And again, there might be the right person out there, but it would be a process to, go through that. But eventually, I mean, we haven't had any issues with it, but technically it is school board's building that's there, you
But
know,
it's
and
on
so we have
government land,
to decide
right?
at some point, what do we want to do with it?
Can we take a field trip?
I think JD and Sonny
Let's
on their
make
way
sure the
back.
weather's warmer, but not too
Yeah.
warm,
No,
because
I
who
don't
knows
wanna
what else
say.
could be in there.
But the Forest Service shows no interest in it.
Correct, that's our understanding, but that is, we need to get that information directly from them.
We did get some
so.
information after the meeting to contact one of the foresters, forest rangers, to find out, but no, I think their budget is pretty slim, and I don't believe they would have any interest. But again, there are some trails in the works there that probably are going to happen, and that area where there's a little pull-off place to park probably is gonna be a place for people to park, and, yeah, it would be historical for the county, it would be neat to be able to preserve it, but, you know, that's the question, how does that happen? Who does it go to, and then what conditions would happen with that sort of thing?
It's probably past preserving.
It might be.
Who's putting the
Have you talked
trails
to the
in?
historical
Like,
Richard Ruddle or whoever?
Well, I have not yet. and I
There's
will-
there's a Mon Forest partnership, you've seen the
Okay.
signs,
Yeah, I've
about
seen
Mon
it.
Forest Towns.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a partnership coalition that's not really directly with the Forest Service, but it's towns in this mountain area that are
Right.
connected with that. And there's working groups of people, and I guess there's some grant money available. I don't know all the sources of that. They work with the National Forest Service, and there will be, I think, some walking, hiking trails from what we saw preliminarily into that area. And that's not formalized yet, but that's the plan there on the Upper Reeds Creek, right where the National Forest sign is, you know, where we have the passing lane up near Katie's parents up there, and then just right there is where that would be back in through there. So it would be nice, you know, to have a piece of history preserved, but it would take some time and effort and some thought as to what to do with it.
Paul Clayton said they would talk about it at their next board meeting, so he told me, Betty,
Oh,
that, so
okay.
they're aware of it. you know.
Okay.
But he, you know, also he said funds were limited for them and other
Yes.
buildings to take care of.
I mean, we just got that Presbyterian church and put out how much into the roof
Yeah.
and preserving it, so it takes money, yeah.
that's all.
That's all under
Updates?
superintendent's update.
Yes.
Conference and meeting update.
Okay, so on Sunday, from 6 to 8 p.m., the Superintendent's Association is going to have representatives that will be talking to legislators, and I am planning to attend that with Charles. And then December 10th through 12th, we have our Superintendent's Conference in Wheeling. I think that's it.
The December the 15th is the SBA Awards,
Yes. Mhm.
and December the 16th, we have South Branch in the
We
morning.
do have it on the same day, don't we?
Yep.
What day was that?
December 16th, South Branch.
And somewhere on Facebook, I saw they're having an open house at the old board office for the business center. I think it's next week as well sometime. I don't know if it's the EDA or maybe there's an open house one day down there.
Any questions under superintendent's update? Conference and meeting update. So our next meeting then will be held here, at Franklin Elementary School at 6 o'clock following the LSIC presentation. That will be on December the 16th. And I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.